Howdy, y'all. So this is episode 24, and it'll probably be the last episode for a little while because I have other projects that I need to attend to before I retire. But this one's a very important one, and it's the last little finesse that you need to know about, if you don't already know, to give you that final little extra polish as a professional songwriter, and that is internal rhymes. Internal rhymes are very, very slick, for lack of a better term, and important, and it really shows that you're in full command of your faculties as a professional, deep, fully formed songwriter. Now, what do I mean by internal rhymes? Some of you will know this, and it's a very tricky thing to do in practice and do it well poetically. But for instance, I'm just going to make up something. If you like my shiny bike, we can take a ride. You can see if you look at me, I have nowhere to hide, right? Okay, crappy example, but it's an example of internal rhymes. If you like my shiny bike, those are the internal rhymes in the first part, we can take a ride. You can see if you look at me, I have nowhere to hide. So ride and hide are the main rhymes. The other ones are internal rhymes. James Taylor was amazing at this. The Beatles were great at it. The Eagles were great at it. It's a very subtle, slick thing. You don't want to overuse it because once you introduce it, you have nowhere to go. You got to keep doing it and it can get tiresome. However, if you use it in very, very clever spots, like sprinkled throughout your songwriting, you'll notice people go, oh, yeah, that was pretty cool. Oh, that's pretty clever. Oh, you don't want to be too clever. Right? I'll give you an example from a song of mine that I didn't even realize I did it in, but obviously I did it on purpose. And I was listening to a master of a record I made back in 2009 that's finally coming out next year. And there's my favorite song on the record is called This Is Not My Town. And the bridge is, buildings and old landmarks that used to comfort me loom like giant tombstones far as the eye can see. Loom like giant tombstones. So the loom and tomb of tombstones are the internal rhyme. You see what I mean? Like, it's so subtle, it almost goes by and you don't realize it because I had forgotten I had done it. And that's the instinct I want you to develop and start thinking about that. Again, if you introduce it too early in the song, you're going to be stuck with that pattern and you're going to have to stay with it. And it's impossible to keep up over the course of a 3 or 4 minute song. But if you use it delicately and throw it in spots, and again, I refer you to James Taylor, who does it probably more than any writer I've ever heard, you'll see what I mean, how it's very, very clever and cool. And sometimes, like in the example I gave you of my song, it's a subtle rhyming alike thing, but it feels the same. It just breaks up the monotony and gets you out of the same rhymey thing or the same patterns and just twists the ear a little. A lot about music, whether it's production or songwriting, is twisting the ear just a little bit so you pull the listener in closer to you, right? That's the trick. So let me know how this all works for you. Practice this. You're going to have to practice this because it just doesn't happen. Maybe it does for some of you. That'd be awesome. But try it in your songs, mess around with it, and mess around with rhyming and word schemes, and just don't overuse it, and it should work pretty well for you.